Our TZ and Envy are on Twitter flaming. Fresh memes at the ready. DreamLeague is back. It's winter in Sweden. It's time for DreamHack. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second major of the young DPC season. This is DreamHack Winter 2017, and I am joined by the voices of DreamLeague all season long. Owen, Mr. Odie Pixel, let's start with you, buddy. This is already 6 seasons for you. What are you looking forward to this time around?
I am looking forward to the fact that this time around, there's big money on the line. You know, we've had a few dream hacks. The prize pool's been nice. This time, it's a lot. It's $1 million, and of course, the teams, you know, they'll be thinking about that as well. It's for them, it's the qualifying points. That these are the big places to play for. This is the time, this is the place where we're not going to see teams mess around. You've seen other sort of lands, you know, teams. You know, they've been testing stuff. This is what they've been testing stuff for. This is the time to turn up, give it their all, because this tournament means a lot. You
mentioned the $1 million. You know, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Fogged, okay? This is actually the 20th anniversary of DreamHack Winter, believe it or not. I looked back, the first Dota 2 event I could find, the first Dota event I could find at DreamHack was in 2006. I want you to guess, how much do you think the prize pool was?
I'm gonna give it 1,000.
That's pretty close. The prize pool was $783. It was 5,000 Swedish kroner. It was won by Ake, Loda, and Milk, their MYM team. And today, for the first time in DreamHack history, over 330 prize pools paid at DreamHack in dozens of different esports. This is the first $1 million prize pool in the event's history. So we are seeing something pretty significant. There you go. Last but not least, my man, Slacks, we had the opportunity recently to work on a tournament together. It almost seems strange to see you without a yellow glove and plastic eyeballs. Dude. But we're here for something a little different, buddy.
Nahas, what the hell are you doing, dude? You're starting the show with your poems? This is a major, pal. There's $1 million on the line. We don't have time for your old man semantics over here.
I liked it. I thought it was great.
A poem?
I thought it was good.
This is carnage. This is murder. We're going to see all the teams coming out from Dota going head-to-head to destroy each other, and you're starting to start off Christmas spirit? It's freaking November.
Co-host, guys. Co-host.
It's not. It's December 1st, isn't it?
It is?
Is it December today?
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure today's December 1st.
Is today Friday?
I didn't get an
5 minutes in and we're already falling apart here. Let's take a look at today's brackets because we have 3 days of non-stop Dota in store for you guys. All of these are going to be best of 3 series up to a best of 5 grand final. This is double elimination format. We will have 8 best of 3s running today, 2 streams running in parallel. We're going to start you off with VP and Navi in the morning, carry on with EG and Secret in the afternoon, and then go with both upper bracket matches. We think during the night we may change things up a little bit on you. As you look at that bracket, Owen, what are matchups you looking forward to?
I mean, the thing with the teams that we have here, every matchup is sort of going to have its own very exciting story to tell. I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's for the viewers at home who they're just the fans of which is going to be the best series, because I think it's very hard to really sort of count out any of these series being anything other than absolutely spectacular. For me, myself, I'm looking forward to the 2 ones that we'll be covering over here. To start with, VP Na'Vi, Secret EG. I think these are both going to be very interesting matchups. VP Na'Vi because it's been a matchup that's sort of swung both ways recently in past series in previous lands. And Secret EG because Secret, they're rising to the top. EG, they sort of had a bit of a, you know, they've sort of been sitting down a little bit, but they're climbing their way back up now. They look very hot in the NA qualifiers, of course, for this land. So I'm excited to see if they can step it back up to the level that Secret's sort of pushing themselves to.
I'm really glad he said that, yeah. I was going to say EG Secret for myself. I want to see if, I mean, Secret has been just on the up and up, and EG, they definitely have to prove themselves, and I think this could be where they can do it.
Man, whatever. Forget that one. The first series is my
first series is really
breakfast, dude. We got VP and Na'Vi. That's all I want, baby. 2 Russian CIS dudes, excuse me, I just learned that term last week, going head-to-head for the murder time. I love Disruptor, and we're going to see it every game, too. It's going to be great.
You like Disruptor?
Dude, he has
one of his favorite.
He has the best voice lines in the game.
He does
bottom.
Really okay.
Wrestling bottom.
Well, don't all heroes say that?
Yeah, no, but he says it the best. Wrestling bottom.
So you like his voice, not his voice lines?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Wow, we're already going down.
Me and my wife love that line.
Fog, we talked about this a little bit last night. Who's your dark horse team of the tournament?
All right, well, they have a rough start. They're versus Liquid right in the beginning. But I'm going to give it a Fnatic. I think there's a couple reasons. I think they've been on the up and up as well, especially with the addition of Abed. But here we are, where NTH won DreamHack with Envy before he was booted, and they formed Alliance and won TI after that. So I've got to put them as my dog.
Going back to pre-TI3, you played against that team, didn't you?
Yes, it sucked. We lost miserably. we'll stop talking about when I played.
Well, no, because I love the thread. There was a Twitter thread that went around the other day. Players talking about their first LAN being DreamHack. I think it was Kazu's first LAN back like 5 years ago. And I thought it was funny because at the very end of the thread, GH says, "Oh yeah, it was my first LAN too, in 2016," and he's only won 7 of them since then.
Dude, I don't want to take any credit, but we made GH, all right? He came through DreamLeague.
He did.
I mean,
He was a DreamLeague panelist.
All
he was a panelist
no
before
Kuro.
earlier. Yeah.
When we never could get Miracle to talk, we're like, GH, Miracle. And they were both like the most talkative people ever. It was actually adorable. I loved that combo when they came on.
I mean, I'm just saying the pedigree of DreamLeague is far above. I mean, we basically made Liquid. I'm not going to lie here.
Wow. You're not going to lie.
So anyway, Nahizzle, what else you got?
Did you just call me? Okay.
I think that's your new tag.
Milton, I want double for this. What other players are you looking at this weekend, Slacks, coming onto that big stage? Did you interview a bunch of these guys? You know the personalities pretty well.
I do. I'm very intimate with the players in many ways. They certainly don't avoid me at the after parties. But you know, I got to say my most excited player to see throughout the entire day is Roger. I love that guy from Na'Vi. I don't think he knows who I am. That's fine. I wave to him. He ignores me. But Roger is super interesting to me, mostly because I just watched Na'Vi play without him. And he's so integral to their play style. He's such a playmaker and all that. And he's kind of this new rising guy that we don't know a lot about. I cannot wait to get my hands on that guy in a post-game interview.
I like that you're saying Roger, because what comes down to mind, I love you, Roger. And
The
he
Nyx
knows
assassin.
it too. The Nyx assassin.
Oh, that game.
He missed like every
Oh.
impale,
loved
and he
it.
tweets right afterwards. He just tweets the impale picture. He had a rough one, but that kind of attitude is incredible.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. He's made a big difference for them because it's
Yeah.
looked like Seneko is slotted over to that 5 role. We'll talk about that coming up in a minute. Guys, we ready to get this started?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. $1 million at Meme League? Truly, there is nothing memes can't do.
One more thing before we move on, because I was looking at this the other day, and I wanted to tell, coming into this tournament, I wanted to tell kind of an overarching story about the patch. 707, still very new. We don't really know much about it yet. Thing is, I'm looking at all these numbers. I don't really think we know much about this patch yet. If you had to tell a story, what are you telling right now about the pro meta?
Anyone want to take this one?
Fog?
Fog?
Tidehunter and Tiny, I guess I could say.
Okay.
Those are probably my 2 biggest standout heroes that came into like fruition out of being like gone from the meta for a long time.
Are you down with this Omni Razor thing?
That too. Omni
Okay.
Razor is pretty absurd. I think Omni Knight just needs to get nerfed.
No,
Sorry,
he
I'm just
doesn't.
kidding.
Omni Knight-
seems really powerful though.
He's
Okay.
really bad. There's no reason to pick him. There's no reason to nerf him. He's garbage tier.
I think also the rise of just these incredibly tanky 4 heroes has become really growing, because now it's like Earth Spirit's still there, but he's starting to fall out a little bit. It's just like these ogres, these undyings having these battles and just dominating lanes.
If you really want the story, once upon a time, and there's a game
No,
called
we don't.
Dota 2.
We got to send these guys off. They got stuff to do. We got to send OD and Fogged over to the casting desk, and we are going to bring on our special guest in just a moment. Joined Dota in 2017. Lol. My 2 guys, Blitz and Toby. That's how I met you 2. I always think of you that way.
I never worked there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I
No? Let's start talking, boys, about our first match of the day. We're ready to get this major started. About 10 minutes out here from the draft. We got a CIS showdown on our hands. And Toby, often accused of being the old Na'Vi supporter.
I just why?
But
why?
we've got the
just like a book of old memes that I have here. What do I want to do? I want to go back 5 years. 5 years? Okay,
Yeah.
that's how far we want to go back.
Only 5?
Yeah.
That's like an eye blink to me, man.
After 30, everything is just
It's
dwindling
just
until
blurry.
death.
No, 40.
I don't
After
know
40,
where I am right
everything is
now.
dwindling towards death. I'm over 30 myself. I don't want to
Rip.
In all seriousness,
Yeah.
let's start talking about VP because this is a team that, for the longest time, has looked like a dominant squad. There are only 2 5-man squads in the history of Dota that have 200 appearances together and an over 70% win rate, and they're the current Liquid and VP squads. VP, we talked about as a team that had the stats but couldn't necessarily win the big one. They did that in ESL 1 Hamburg. Do we think they can repeat?
I will ask the expert on teams.
What? Okay.
Yes.
That was a cop-out.
That's such an easy alley-oop. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like-
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm just going to set you up. Let's just dunk it now.
Jeez.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a really strong team. Like, VP is really, really scary. They have all the tools. The big knock on them was it felt like they were living in somebody else's era. It was kind of like, you know, they were playing in Jordan's era, and they were the Jazz at that point. But I think they've kind of gone over that hump with that first big win in the major. I think that they proved that they can hold. Like, that was a pretty big major in its own right. They had to face stiff competition every leg of the way, and they were able to kind of at least, like, assuage the doubts in my mind for them. So I feel like this is like a big game team. Like, these guys need the stakes to be high. They're one of those teams that I think value themselves like very highly. They see themselves as like a team that deserves wins. So I think they're only going to ever show up for the big stuff.
Yeah, I agree with Blitz there. If there's one team that ever feels like sometimes they're just going to go do something and they're not trying their hardest, it's probably VP, because when you see them completely in their element, doing their best, it's like an entire different animal.
Yeah, you can see it's pretty split between our fan base here. Now, again, a lot of Na'Vi fans out there, but this VP squad getting a lot of support from the CIS region. And Toby, I was giving you crap, but I am actually
Really?
pretty serious about this. You've cast a lot of CIS Dota. And
yeah, over time.
VP has gone from this typical CIS run-at-you team to a team that's incredibly tactically sound.
See, that's what I always loved about like Virtus Pro. Like when VP, like they changed up a hell of a lot, but then they assembled the roster of friends almost. They just took everyone they loved to play with and just worked with it. You can look back when FNG was on the team as well. They took what was a very stereotypical CIS thing, which is run at you, dive under bases, and go full Havost. But they pulled it back, and they now have this aggression tempered with logic. And for me, it makes the game entertaining for all the people watching, because we actually get action-packed Dota, but we're not sitting there face-palming every 5 seconds. So
Nice.
I love Virtus Pro because of this, and I always hope they do well at tournaments.
Well, we're talking about VP. Let's see some of VP. Here are some of the top plays we've seen out of that team here in ROG Dream League Season 8.
Maybe a different story.
Shot comes out, catches out Ramses with the Ice Blast as well. And cancel there too.
Yeah, they got the kill. Global comes out. They want to try and find something in return. That is a beautiful boulder smash. Perfect angle from them. Catches both of them. They'll take down one with the curse on cancel. They should get him as well, and they do indeed. But the Chronos on 3. Do they have follow-up damage? It doesn't look like they do. The GA comes out, but it didn't achieve much. And now Kesu, he could be in trouble himself. He's got Time Walk again. So he's still rather slippery, but the silence comes through along with the purification. And again, Lil, some beautiful Earth Spirit play down in the Radiant jungle. Thinking if they can chase this Ramses. He's looking for Jarex. Jarex
Movement speed.
in a lot of trouble. He will get forced back once, pops the global heal, but he's been silenced. Fisher to the backside, and Jarex
the
is
gem
down.
is down as well.
And he has to be careful. They have vision upon him. S4's just jumped into the midst of it all. S4, what are you doing?
S4 melts.
S4! He's gone! He's down for 100. Jarex and S4 will buy back.
And Rezo as well. If he dies here, it's game over.
Now, this is a fantastic fight for them. They get no tail as well. Triple kill for Ramses.
S4 as well gets echoed.
Oh, it's the second
He's dead
time
again.
he's down. S4 down for 2 minutes alongside Resolution. This is almost early. Going to be game. No tails gone as well.
Rampage.
Ramses with the rampage.
Double rampage.
Oh my goodness. Is this a triple rampage? Oh,
It is a triple rampage.
Oh baby, it's the triple. He's almost certainly going to get the kill unless you can take him out at the start of the fight.
Going for no one again here. Just comes out. Main one. Off the
Hang
mark
on.
though.
No one will get the ultimate out. Winter's Curse comes through as well as the Cold Embrace, keeping no one alive. Oh,
the
hello! That vacuum vacuum onto Dream, setting up the double kill for Passive. He's hiding in the tree lines, but no one's found him with the Eye of the Storm.
Charged with the vacuum, hits everybody. And during that Winter's Curse, he did have the static link going off.
Oh, baby, the triple. Guys, there are, coming into this morning, 293 players that have 300 or more appearances all time in Pro Dota 2. Ramses and No One are both top 5 KDAs. Both of them playing for VP right now. This is a really sick squad. Let me put the question to you first, though, Jake, because I thought those other clips were just as indicative. You saw the Ramses triple rampage on Weaver, but who to you is the key player for VP?
That is such a hard question because they have so many like iconic players. You got Lil and Ramses that are just going so crazy. But I gotta say, my boy Nine Pasha. I mean, he just makes stuff happen. He's the look at him. Look at that face. He knows he's gonna kill somebody. And he's so excited about it too. I love Nine Pasha. I love watching him. I love the rotations. He's like the heart of the team. When they're going in, he's the guy in the front. But I do have to say, I still believe in the Lil Weaver. I think it's
the support Weaver.
Oh.
Yeah, it comes. Don't pass out on the Lidl.
Yeah.
I actually can't believe that you gave, in my opinion, you gave like the answer I would give there.
Yeah.
I think Pasha is the key to that team.
You and me are equal on intelligence levels, I would say.
Wow. I don't know who's insulted on this.
No one's insulted. We're both gosh darn professionals here, co-hosting the major. Me and this guy, we know everything.
Help me.
All right.
Toby, what do you think about this VP squad? Who's your key player?
My one is always Lil. I always love watching his rotations, the space he creates, but primarily because I look at the different lane combination, look to Lil's rotation to make No One just an absolute boss. Like, his mid lanes, I just want to see more and more and more and more. Give me more.
Oh. All right, guys. Well, it is time to shift the conversation over to the other CIS team we're seeing in action here. And let's go ahead and lead off with some action here. Let's take a look at the top 3 plays from Na'Vi this season.
It's going to find it, but that's taking down Denny. Knew straight away that he was there. Post the BKB, Crystallized jumping onto the backline, Cinderin down. Weehar as well going to fall as he gets swapped back to his own demise by Tomato. They'll force forward on Crystallized, looking for Tomato, who's trying for the TP out. It's not going to make it. Look to set up for the second time. Stun isn't going to connect, of course, right, Roger, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the team's there to bring him down. Triple kill for Crystallized. Snakers have some sweet saves this game. Crystallized jumping in with the combo. Avalanche onto Cancel. Cancel trying to get himself away, but the damage is too much for Crystallized and Dendy. They lose 2, they lose 3. Crystallized picks up the triple kill. Kezu trying to draw them away, just jumping past them, desperately trying to bring Na'Vi away from the barracks, but Crystallized takes the kill. Dual setup into the ice path. Aloana's in a whole world of pain. Reaper Sub comes in, doesn't get the initial kill, but it does get the kill nonetheless. Doesn't matter because buyback is there. Aloana's goes straight back in, but they've lost another buyback from the IO. Vega throwing everything in for this last defense. They've got the 3-man Dream Call. Do they have the follow-up? Aloana's looking towards Crystallized, but Na'Vi just stand their ground, take down the tier 3. BKB out on Aloana does, but he's still taking so much right click from Dendy. Dendy, light strike onto Slayer. Dendy gets the double kill. Dendy, he takes down another. They're all dead apart from this Zayak IO, and he is the last to pop. Oh, there we go. There's the play.
There it is. Hell yeah. Okay,
110-5.
I did my job.
What the hell you do, Fog? Here we go. Crystallized comes in. He's got his eyes on Solar. Will jump forward. Ooh, Chrono on the bigger target. Finds the Pasha Omni Knight. Ice Blast is in. Can he get out of this one? No, he can't. He's hexed up, taken down. BKB popped by Crystallized. He'll turn back towards Ramses. The time dilation kicks in. BKB's out there for Ramses. He's manning up on Dendy. Dendy getting saved with the Glimmer Cape and the Force out. What a play from Na'Vi. They keep Dendy alive.
I think you're really seeing those clips. Dendy 1,400 appearances with Na'Vi, by far the most of any player with a single team all time. But this team is not just about him anymore. All right, I want to hear from all three of you guys on this, but I want to start with Blitz. You're one of the guys I go to. Blitz, when I get a little too excited about things sometimes, maybe, you're one of the guys I go to bring me back down to earth.
Okay.
So I want to ask you the question straight out. Are Na'Vi back?
Definitely. They recently won the prestigious ACL, the Adrenaline Cyber League,
Yeah.
a LAN which featured the likes of Virtus Pro, who they're about to play, and obviously that correlates very nicely into this because
Statsman Blitz.
yeah, you know, one of the best tournaments that we've had all year.
Statistically, more important than TI.
Honestly.
When you look at the numbers, I know that you're not a big numbers guy, but the Adrenaline Cyber League was the biggest number event of the year.
There's more people that won a TI than an Adrenaline Cyber League.
Yeah, that's a once-in-a-lifetime
And there's
thing.
only somebody that's won both of them, and that's Dendy.
That's correct.
So Na'Vi,
Truly an exclusive.
buy high right now. Real high.
Mountaintop right there. There he is. There's the Dondo right there. You know, still after all this time, being such an iconic Dota person, still such the heart of the team too. I mean, their play style of just making space for him and letting him go crazy is unbelievable. I mean, the amount of time that he has been in there, people have learned from him, and he can still just dominate a game by himself. Very good stuff. But enough about Dondo, okay? Let me tell you all about Roger one more time. Roger, baby. Roger's the one. I used to love Senekio, and then he unfollowed me on Twitter, pissed me off.
Senekio?
Roger's
really?
my boy. Yeah. I know you can hear me out there, Senekio. Thanks for that unfollow, okay? I talked up your Winter Wyvern so hard 2 seasons ago, and you betrayed me. But anyway, Roger's the man, dude. All the rotations, all the plays. He's just like the guy in the back making it happen. Love that kid.
Well, one of two newcomers really to this Na'Vi squad, and I agree with you. Roger has made such a huge difference coming over from Empire. He's moved Seneko back into that more hard 5 role where he's making plays, not responsible for having a farm. But I want to talk about the other newcomer on Na'Vi a little bit. I want to talk about this kid, Crystallize. 18 years old. One of the youngest players in the event here. His PL absolutely sick. 7-1, you can see this season. 6-1 already in this patch. He's 3-0 on Tiny in this patch. They run Tiny at all 3 core positions. What do we think about Crystallize?
You know, Crystallize actually reminds me a lot about Ramses when he first came into the scene. The real young kind of upstart, like he just comes in with a lot of confidence, like maybe a little bit of ego in it, but he just plays so consistently well that you know he's going to be there for the team, and his skills are just so far up there.
Yeah, I don't see anyone else winning PL games at all. I mean, he's the only one that I've seen in like the last 6 months where I'm like, oh, okay, they can win. Anytime I see
How much
them,
Dota have you been watching?
PL's garbage. I don't care what you people say, unless Navi's
Oh,
playing.
I don't know.
Read me the stats about PL.
Let's have a look at the Shanghai
heroes.
Miner then. You
Yeah.
get some stats from that.
Yeah, exactly. No, PL is one of those heroes. I remember it vividly because we were on the panel together at ESL Blitz, and you had a pretty sick call on a 5th pick PL, and it really made me look at a lot of PL drafts. He's a hero that if you don't have a lot of AoE damage in the latter part of a draft, he's like a big trump card 5th pick.
Oh yeah, if you don't have AoE damage, AoE stuns, a better late game carry that's more mobile, and you allow him to farm for 15 minutes, and yes, he is one of the best heroes in Dota 2.
Yeah. Sure.
That's a
Standout
lot of
hero.
conditions right
No,
now. You
not
need
at
a
all.
contract to go into that draft.
Yeah.
It's-
Just
it
like
was-
a Wind Ranger game, you know? If she has these 8 things, she can be a playable hero.
We played that hero
Very.
once at Genting or whatever, and you made fun of it, and then we won with it though.
No, you didn't win. You lost the only game with Wind Ranger. I remember specifically because I flamed you and you were not happy with me.
Maybe.
Good times.
Wow.
Just find the solution. Just pick Brood.
Brood, baby! Bring out the Arachnid Assailant
She-
one
she-
more time.
She's
So
the
we-
best 5th pick.
Wow. So we are moments away here from the start of our first draft. We're going to intro the players here. Coming up in a second, Na'Vi had selection priority in our first game. They've chosen 2nd pick. VP are going to be on the Radiant side. Blitz, any opinions so far in this patch about 1st pick, 2nd pick, and Radiant versus Dire?
I think when you pick Radiant, you can harass mid lane more. Like when you take Radiant, because the way that the cliff works is, if you visualize with me, when you're on the Radiant side, like you have this Dire area to work with where you can come down and around, and it's a lot easier as a 5 position. Like you pick Ogre on the side of VP, right? And you can just like you can harass like crazy, and you can't really trade very easily. It's really hard. But when you try to harass from the Radiant angle, it's a lot more difficult because there's less room to work with. Like, there's only like one little gap that you can hit people in, and then right next to the tower, which is why I assumed that ROG moved the tower where he did on the dire side so that it wouldn't be so imbalanced. But I think that balance like still exists. Plus, the way that the shrine is set up too, I think it's easier to set up that Roche area. And then conversely, when you have second pick, nowadays you value second pick a lot because there are OP heroes, but there's no like insane standout heroes. And because you have 3 bans on each side, you often want to give your mid laner the last possible pick so that he has the best core matchup in the game. And if you have a player like Dendi or you have Crystallize and you need to like tie a draft together, it plays into your hands if you're like a newbie or a Na'Vi where you have that kind of mid laner.
Let's talk a little bit about those 3 bans because that's something for those of you that maybe haven't watched Pro Dota in a while, that is new in these patches. You are now going to see 3 bans in the first phase, so 6 total. I've heard some mixed reviews of this from the pros. I know Mad in particular from OG coaching does not like it.
Wait, you say Matt has an opinion on something? I don't believe you.
I do, in fact. What do we think about this 3 bans? Good change, bad change?
I love it. I feel like the more bans you can do, the less you're going to see the exact same kind of things come out. You're going to be able to have that kind of show off your intelligence, your study on these guys, and make sure that they don't get exactly what they're looking for. I think it's great.
I actually started enjoying it in Shanghai because like Shanghai began when we saw all these support heroes just being banned out at the beginning and we just saw Ogre. But as the tournament went on, you start to take like 1 or 2 cores and just push them into that front 3, and then the meta actually changed throughout the tournament just because you're realizing what heroes each team is trying to bring in. So what was very basic, and then you're like, oh crap, like what support hero do we pick? Ogre. What happens next when you start taking and you have to sacrifice one of those early 3 bans to just mix up the meta and bring in a hero which doesn't work or doesn't work well against you?
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the things I noticed in a lot of the Perfect World drafts is that you actually are starting to see core picks in the first phase again. For quite a while in the last couple of metas, it's been mostly supports, and that suits a team like VP where they prioritize the Ogres, the Banes for solos, these lane harassers very heavily. But we are going to talk some more about our drafts. Let's get this major started. Here are the first 2 teams of the event in our CIS Showdown, Virtus Pro and Na'Vi. See the captains there shaking hands. Solo, the owner of that brand new Mercedes after our last major, taking his seat. We are going to get into the draft here in a couple of minutes. We'll see the first picks of this major come out. Before we do, guys, what do you think are going to be the key heroes of this event?
All right, I'll start because this is the only thing I know in my life. Is that Na'Vi loves Enchantress.
Enchantress?
That's right. It is their #1. Every time you let them have it, they win. I don't know what the deal is. I guess it's because it makes a lot of space, but I love that hero. I think Enchantress and Disruptor are your 1 and your 2 in this series.
So
absolutely.
I can fill you in. One of the big things about the Enchantress that is unique for Na'Vi is they run it as a flex pick. So General will run it in the offlane. They're already 5-2. Over the last couple of months with that, and you'll of course see Roger on that hero, very good from his days with Empire.
I'm going to jump in before Blitz has the real heroes who are going to be important here, and go Morphling. I think Morphling's actually going to be one of the ones. It's a slow pace kind of style, but it's his new changes which just make him so good. So it's the heroes that will then synergize with him as well. This is where like when we had the Tiny and Morph